Hello everyone, this is YOLO Everyday and welcome to another episode of my money making series. Hello everyone and welcome to my Frost Dragon guide to earning over 3 million GP per hour. First off, I just want to go over some Frost Dragon information. The Frost Dragon has a combat level of 160, it has 8,500 hit points, and it attacks with melee, ranged, magic, and dragon fire. The Frost Dragon has a weakness of stab, and they are an aggressive monster. The maximum damage Frost Dragon deals with magic is 300 and over 300 hit points. With melee, it's around 210 hit points, and ranged up to 400 hit points. It also attacks with dragon fire, which is one of its most dangerous attacks, where it hits over 2,500 damage. It also has a recoil attack, which is probably its most dangerous attack, and that's completely dependent on what you hit the Frost Dragon with. Frost Dragons are also located in the Asgardian Ice Dungeon Resource Dungeon. Requirements to access the Frost Dragons requires 85 Dungeoneering, so not too bad of a requirement. It is recommended, however, that you also have 80 plus combat stats for chaotic weapons and probably 70 defense for Varrock armor at the minimum. Also, I suggest that you have 70 plus prayer for a deflect magic spell, and also 52 summoning for a terror bird, but higher summoning will help you gain more GP per hour. Next is my armor suggestions. I suggest that for melee you have dual chaotics for a weapon, as in dual chaotic longswords, also Varrock's armor, dragon boots, a warrior's ring, amulet of glory, Pharaoh's gloves or Colliromancer's gloves, a war tortoise, deflect from magic spell, a fire cape, and a reverence aura. Now, as you can see, I use void, and that works just fine for me. So if you want some pretty good cheap armor, then I would go with void. And also, as you can see, I don't have Drygors. Chaotics work just as well for me. Now remember, these are just the suggested minimum requirements. Upgrade if you can, so if you can upgrade to Tetsu or Bandos or Drygor weapons and you can afford it, simply go ahead and do so. Next is my armor suggestions for ranged. Now I also recommend dual chaotic crossbows in this situation as well with royal bolts. If you want to use the royal crossbow, certainly go ahead and do so. I also suggest that you use royal dragonhide, as it is a pretty good armor, but it is also cheap. Also, Helm of Nezinot, Ava's Device, Archer's Ring, Amulet of Glory, Reverence Aura, Snakeskin Boots, Pharaoh's Gloves or Colliromancer's Gloves, again from Recipe from Disaster, a War Tortoise, and the Deflect from Magic spell. Remember, again, if you can upgrade and you have the money to do so, certainly go ahead and upgrade to Serenic or our model if you can. Next is the inventory. Now, this is just a suggested inventory. You will have to adjust dependent on your level. I can usually get away with one prayer flask, but if you want, you can bring two. I suggest to bring two, as I realize not everyone is 93, 94 prayer. I also suggest that you bring around 20 sharks, but you will have to change this dependent on your level. If you are lower defense, you might have to bring more. Prayer renewal is optional. You really don't need it. Also, the anti-fire potion is also optional, but you don't need that if you're going to be using the deflect magic spell. Also, I do suggest bringing a charming imp if you want to get an extra 10 Crimson Charms per trip without taking time to pick them up. And for your familiar, I suggest you bring around 10 sharks, but if you want to bring less or bring more, you will know dependent on your level and your first trip. Next, I would like to talk about the orb information. This is an orb that occasionally appears around the Frost Dragon, and when you attack the Frost Dragon, that damage will be recoiled against you. So this is very important to know. Generally, when the kill time takes longer is when the orb appears, so if you can kill them fast, you don't need to worry about this as much, but do be aware that the orb could appear right when you start attacking the Frost Dragon. Now, when the orb appears, you do not want to attack the Frost Dragon because all of the damage you deal to the Frost Dragon will hit you. Now, abilities such as threshold abilities with long duration will keep hitting you, so if you hit a threshold ability right when the orb appears, it will continue to rack up thousands and thousands of damage, potentially killing you, depending on how fast you can eat. Also, the orb will circle the dragon around 5 to 6 times, but after the third circle, it is completely attackable again and safe to attack. And this is essential that you know this to keep your kills and GP per hour up. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to start off in Birthrup, or wherever you want to for a bank. I usually start off in Birthrup. And I've got my gear here. You see I have all that, all my inventory. I got my War Tortoise, so I'm going to teleport to Port Sarum really quick. And I'm going to go to the Asgarnian dungeon, which once again requires 85 dungeoneering. The nice thing about this spot here is on your way, if you need to, you can recharge your summoning points and your prayer, so you don't need to waste any time going to like Lumbridge out of your way to teleport and stuff like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to run south into the dungeon, and you'll see this little trapdoor here. You'll go down it, and then you will start to run, well, it's north on the compass, northeast, and follow the path. This path goes both ways. Eventually, if you just go right, you will end up at the Frost Dragons here. You'll go right, and then you'll go left into this little crevice area here, and you should see a little dungeon right here. And then you're going to go inside it and make sure to pray magic. As you said, all 3 styles, you're going to mainly do magic though, and then you're just going to simply kill them. They're not very hard to kill at all, really. I mean, I'll kill this one pretty well. I would imagine I'd be killing it faster than this, but set up your ability bar how you like. It really does not matter at all what it's like. It's your preference. Just make sure you can kill these efficiently with your ability bar. And this is basically all you're going to do for this monster. You're just going to kill him over and over again. Eat when you need to. Collect the bones. And this should be around, with my method right now with a tortoise, should be around 2.2 mil an hour. And then when you're finished, you're going to simply teleport back to your bank. I use Birthrup, and repeat. And you should get around 3 or 4 trips per hour. Next, I would like to talk about the rewards. You can gain around 130k EXP an hour, whether it be in strength, attack, or ranged, whatever you are training. And the biggest thing is the Frost Dragon bones, which if you collect with a yak can earn you over 3 million GP per hour, and also with a War Tortoise up to 2.3 million GP per hour, and with a Tarot Bird up to 1.5 million GP per hour. So this is a decent EXP training spot as well as a great GP per hour spot. Would you like to see more of my videos? Well, click those little annotations on the right to watch any video now. And remember, as always, please comment, rate, and subscribe.